Picture this, a kid with no magic, born in a world where everyone has magic and your social status is determined by it. He's discriminated by others for his lack of magic. This same kid who has no magical powers aims to be the top position in the world full of sorcerers. Furthermore, he trains his body and relies on his physical prowess to compensate for his nerf. Doesn't this show sound kind of familiar? Of course I'm talking about Mashle. I feel like this anime/manga deserves some more love and is low-key underrated, not because it's not popular right now, don't get me wrong, it's doing numbers. But the rating that was given to it was way lower than what it deserves. Specifically, I'm talking about my anime list, which gave it a 6.3 out of 10. Like what? Hello? So let's get into this. Basically, the story is about, like I said earlier, Mash, someone who was born without magic, who ends up having to accumulate enough merit to compete and become a divine visionary, which is sort of a title for the strongest people in the kingdom. To accomplish this, he enrolls in the Eastern Magic Academy. This is a magic school where everyone learns how to use magic and trains. However, Mash, with no magic, resorts to his absurd physical strength. For example, the wizards learn how to fly on a broom just like any proper wizard should be able to do. Mash, on the other hand, but what really sets apart Mashle from other animes? Well, nothing actually, it's more the opposite. Mashle and Muscle is literally just copy-pasted different elements from various shows. For example, the kid with no magic who relies on a physical prowess in a magical world. It sounds kind of familiar, don't it? Like, for those who didn't understand, just check the intro again. Then you got the fact that he goes to a wizard school and makes friends with people who are separated in different houses, and also plays the sport that requires you to fly on a broom and pass a ball around the air through hoops. Yeah, it's a very Harry Pottery world. Oh yeah, and also, don't forget the trope of a super OP main character who is stoic, doesn't care too much about anything, and who just uses his fists to literally overpower the entire system of the world. So ridiculously like it's a gag. Although he doesn't do it with one punch, you have to realize the similarity, at least, with Saitama. And before anyone says it, he does not beat Goku. Oh yeah, and by the way, did I also mention that the final and evilest villain is actually the originator of the main character? Does that sound familiar? And no, I'm not referring to, spoilers, MHA all for one, but obviously to Aizen. Now, you read the title and probably is confused, cause knowing all of this, why is Mashle underrated if it's just copies of everything else? Well, Mashle just sweeps in and grabs ideas from plenty other shows, puts them together, and BAM! Cooks up this masterclass. What I mean is, it somehow managed to execute all these ideas almost perfectly. Like, it doesn't feel too corny or cringe or boring when you watch it, it's truly enjoyable. The trope of the OP character was done right. It wasn't boring like a certain, I don't support the gold. I think the way Mashle handles it is just way better. They don't make him an invincible powerhouse and rather injects just the right amount of heart, vulnerability, and humor into his character. Next, we gotta highlight the power system, which is exactly perfect for this kind of story. Obviously it's just magic, but it's pretty consistent. It's not an extraordinary complex power system, but it still fits with the story's theme. Because the MC quite literally can't participate in the main power system. It'd be kinda dumb to have a complex power system that your protagonist can't even use. And although magic can be basic, it's still good, which is why so many shows utilize it because it's so versatile. Like, you got this zesty ass guy who has like piano magic, you know, it leaves room for creativity. It also leaves us with crazy entertaining fights like this.
全然興味ないわ。サウンズオーケストラ。次ね。サモンズ、アレス、スミダ、ブラックパルチザン。サウンズシールド。 サ
Lastly, we gotta talk about the overarching theme of acceptance and identity. It's great. Just like Naruto or Asta or even Deku, Mash is trying to break out of his mold and fit into a society to live in peace with his father and friends. And he has to do so while being at the bottom of the ladder, while having nothing, while being not gifted, quite literally the opposite, while being cursed. Even though this theme might not be unique, it's still a good one, and again, Mashle and Muscles executed it correctly, in my opinion. Overall, it's just a fun show to watch with side characters that are all interesting and not set aside. They all have development. The theme is great, the fights are entertaining, the tropes, power system, it's just done right. This is why I think Mashle is just underrated and does not deserve a 6.3 out of 10. At the bare minimum, 7.5 minimum.